Hello, good evening, and thanks again for another edition of Ideas Exchange. It's Wednesday, and this appears to be the last Wednesday of the month of June. In 2 days, we'll enter July. Don't forget, July is very significant in our history because it was the Republic Day when Ghana became fully a democratic state with all the powers that we have today vested in us. In the course of this conversation, I'll share with you significant this 1st July and perhaps those who were part of the activities that heralded independence brought us where we are. But there is one thing our forefathers or those who have died several years ago will not be happy about. We are a country that is deteriorating. The youth is angry. The youth do not trust our leaders. Many people who respected yesterday, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, who earned the reputation they have, seem to have lost it. Nobody knows what could have happened. I want to share a few things with you, and as I run through the concerns I have personally, which is influencing our topic today, I want you to read some of these things I've captured. It's about a youth that feels that the integrity that must be used to govern this country is lost. Every important person in this country you would have looked up to appears to have disappointed you. And so just recently, there was an issue of the National Cathedral, and a whole lot of people who appeared to be the persons you would have looked up to for some kind of support did not do what you wanted. Again, as we speak, there is one important thing you must notice, and I would just draw you back to history, and it's very important. If you look at all the institutions in this country, which of them do you trust? I am making reference to the judiciary, SHRAJ, parliament, the police, the military, top clergymen, think tanks, governance institutions, public service, trade union congress, student unions. Of all these things that I've listed on the screen, which of them, just by the few, do you trust? And if you don't trust them, what could have been the reason why you don't trust these institutions? Are the actors within or without? And what is your own personal contribution us this far? And while I'm referring to institutions which are part of the lost integrity, the trust crisis, and bad leadership or governance, which is pushing a lot of young men to do what we are witnessing this week in Accra, a Rise Ghana demonstration. Many young people on the street you meet today will tell you, either I want to be those up there because they don't care about Ghana and they are thinking about themselves, or they are saying that, look, we have lost hope. But is that where Ghana is going to? These are issues that you want to reflect on. Now, you remember I mentioned the National Cathedral. Now, I'll share with you a few pictures. These individuals you see on the screen as we roll from one slide to the other are people Ghanaians respected a lot. A people that Ghanaians sought to. And if you look at events that unfolded before the 2008 elections, 2012 elections, 2016 elections, 2020 elections, they were supposed to be people that ran through if there's a stalemate. But unfortunately, either they have allowed themselves to be used or they are enjoying the glory of associating themselves with the top hierarchy of our governance structure. And therefore, they have allowed themselves to be used. And I'm making reference to the National Cathedral issue, because things that have been unraveled have suggested that we have disgraced them, or they were party to what many describe today as the nonsense going on in this country, or again, they were part of the looting brigade. Now, if you look at the pictures of these personalities that I'm sharing on the screen, I'm not holding them in brief because many of them are silent. And on daily basis, one aspect of leaked document is exposing how wicked individuals can be, looking at the masses which give people in government the opportunity to govern us. Yet they don't care They misapply state resources at your sweat. And that's how it's going. But let me tell you a brief history about how sometimes, and I'm sorry to use this word, criminals play. They can read into the future, read the mind of people, and use them. I'm sure you remember the Ayawaso West Wagon election violence. And I'm sure you remember Emil Short, who is the former Shraj boss. Do you remember an institution that was set up? I'll call it an institution, because this institution, many people were confused whether they were usurping the powers of the Electoral Commission. Before the 2020 elections, there was a committee called EC's Eminent Advisory Committee. And look at this clever agenda or trend that appears to have manifested in the National Cathedral issue. Who were members of this committee of eminent persons that the late Jerry John Rawlings inaugurated? All the big people in Ghana, all the influential bodies. And before the 2020 elections, the violence, issues about voter register or registration exercise, the Techiman South issue, they have not spoken till date. Whether it has been collapsed, whether they are worried about concerns being raised, whether they are worried about people continuously saying, where are they, where are they? Look, Justice Emil Short was the chairman of this Eminent Advisory Committee. Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante, chairman of the National Peace Council, then Sheikh Osmanu Nuhu Shaributu, who was co-opted in that poor old chief imam, we all respect. They bring him on board. Sam Okujeto, member of the Council of State, Nana Atodadze, a former chief of staff under the Rawlings administration, Archbishop Duncan Williams, National Cathedral, Abembi, Dr. Yaban, General Secretary, Trade Union Congress, Reverend Charles Gabriel Palmer Buckle, you know he's there, Afel Money, GJA President, Mrs. Gifty Afenyi Dadze, Aglo Ghana, I'm sure you know much about it, and she was a former member of the Council of State under the Kufuor administration. Reverend Professor Emmanuel Mate, former moderator of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, Mr. Tony Forson, president of the Ghana Bar Association, and Dr. Eric Odro Osai. Then we knew him as a local government expert, and today I know he has an appointment in this government. They were all quiet. When we have leadership crisis, trust issues, and bad governance today, who will we run to? And that is what is influencing our topic for this evening. And I've made it simple. Our democracy, integrity crisis, and our agitated youth. My guest is a senior citizen, very passionate. You know him so well. I won't say much. Is Captain Retired Joel. So, Captain, you are welcome.
Thank you.
I try to provoke the system with things that are real. I'm not being overly passionate about the presentation.
You have to be overly
about what is happening. The youth in this country have lost confidence in people like you. You have disappointed us. And I'm sure you watched the Arise Ghana demonstration. Yesterday, a lot of things went on. When you sit back and you think that those of you we have to see and mentor, it appears all is lost. Penyin Wasa Okrum, how do you feel?
First of all, good evening to your listeners and watchers. Before I say anything, let me sing. Land of our birth, our faith, our pride, for whose dear sake our fathers died. O motherland, we pledge to thee, head, heart, and hands, through the years to be. My motherland, Ghana, 28th February 1948, something happened in Ghana. Every year, we celebrate 28th February, Osu Crossroads incident.
We will get there, but the scenes on our TV now reflects young people from all walks of life. There are politicians
I'm
in
getting there.
And
I'm getting there.
Right.
Yesterday, I was glued to the television. And when I was watching the scenes, I did not believe it was Ghana. I thought that it was the old apartheid South African films that were being shown on television. Later on, I had to pinch myself to come to the realization that this is Ghana, my motherland. So I ask myself, the police that we have in Ghana, it used to be a police service, and the police officers were called peace officers. But what we saw on television yesterday are the police in Ghana, peace officers. The reason why I brought the 28th February issue, now let me ask you if your history is still solid about Ghana. On that day, who were the heroes as far as you know?
As far as I am concerned, the heroes are the three men who were shot.
Yes.
Sergeant Ajete,
Yes.
Corporal Atipo, and I
Yes.
think Lance Corporal Odate Zilamte. Or
Yeah,
Wellington,
Odate
right?
Lamte. Excellent. But you see, the real hero on that day, we don't even know his name. The incident that happened yesterday, that if we had been celebrating that person, the police would have learned something from there.
What happened?
Emery, the police officer who asked a policeman to shoot at the soldiers, he refused that order. And Emery himself took the gun and shot. He refused an order for him to shoot at his kith and kin. Can the IGP today tell me that he, as the IGP, can refuse an order to release the policemen on his own kith and kin Ghanaians? Let me tell you, when the white man came to Ghana in Gold Coast at that time, he picked a few people, recruited them, brainwashed them, and say, look, you are a special people. Those people, they are savages. And therefore, when they are doing anything, go and finish them. That was the orientation of the police at that time. Today, the top policeman is a Ghanaian. The president is a Ghanaian. All the policemen are Ghanaians, and they have relatives in the community. So, if even you receive an order from above to release the policemen on your own kith and kin, you should be solid and strong enough, like that policeman in 28th
February
February
1948.
Yes, who refused the order to shoot at his own people. IGP, when you were appointed, I was one of the people who prayed for you on Ben Akapo's program on Prime FM. And I urge you to stand and leave footprints on the sands of time. From your background, I know you are a strong Christian and you have the principles of Jesus Christ in you. Yes, you have a job to do. But remember, as a Christian, we believe that there is a judgment day. The question I'm asking you, when the judgment day comes and you appear before the judgment throne, would you say you feared man instead of fearing God? And all the policemen in the police service today, I, Captain Joel Kwame Sow, retired, I'm asking you that, especially those of you who are Christians, that remember the judgment day will come. God will ask you, did you fear man or feared me?
So,
The answer
so
is with you.
it comes back into the conversation today. Lost trust in leadership. How did we get here, and where are we?
When in your introduction, you mention state institutions. Obama came into this country and said, we don't need strong men, but we need strong institutions of state. I asked this question the last time I was here. Do we have a state of Ghana? Who is responsible for the state of Ghana? We have, and I said, governments come, governments go, but the state is there forever. Which state is there forever? We go and elect somebody into office as president for the government. He comes, he does whatever he likes, and he gets away with it. He flouts the constitution with impunity. Who stops him? Who checks him? If you have a constitution that puts all power into one person, that he gets away with it and does whatever he likes. Even when people are dying and suffering, he doesn't care. He wants to use what he wants. His luxury is more important than the life of the people. The institutions, who appoints them? And if the head of the institution knows that it is this man who has appointed me, he who appoints you can disappoint you. But if the government, the president who comes knows that there is a council of state that is there forever.
What is your understanding of government? I'm asking this question deliberately because I'm deliberately, again, made reference to several institutions, including civil society organizations, clergymen, and it cuts across even traditional authorities I didn't add, which escaped me. Now, if we are so many of Ghanaians under all these umbrellas, which must checkmate government aside ordinary persons, and we look on over the years, how then do we turn around and blame a few?
You say, what do I understand by government? Abraham Lincoln said, the government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall never perish upon this earth. Do we have a government of the people in Ghana? No. Do we have a government by the people in Ghana? No. Do we have a government for the people in Ghana? No. We have a government of the party, by the party, and for the party. Government of family and friends, by family and friends, and for family and friends. That is the difference. Because we, first of all, let us blame ourselves. If we, the people, we say power resides with the people, where is our power? After we've elected somebody as a president, where is our power to checkmate him? Where is our power to checkmate the minister who is not performing? Where is our power to checkmate the MC who is in the municipality or who is in charge of the district, as the district chief executive? We don't have. We elect them into office, no, and they come and they say, the party, this is our manifesto, this is what we'll go by. That is not a government of the people. It's a government by the party. But if that government that is coming, there is a national manifesto, and where national manifesto means that we have the programs of the communities that is collated into the districts, that is collated into the regions, that is collated in the national district, and at the end of the day, we have community projects, we have district projects, we have regional projects, and we have national projects. When the budget is being prepared, it will be based on that. So we all know that the budget for from 2013 2024 to 2020, whatever it is, we know these are the projects that should take place in this community. So we, the people in this particular community, will be looking for it.
So where you have lived that long,
Yes.
You have seen the processes that led to independence. You witnessed it. You have witnessed all the coup d'etats. You have witnessed Nkrumah's regime. You have been active or in and out of some of these systems. Now, at what point did we go wrong? Because there was a Kwame Nkrumah who many would say had a certain master plan, which he was moving gradually towards to make Ghana an industrious state. Then along the line, we truncated the system. Then we started all over again. The same crop of people who were either part of Nkrumah's regime and may have seen it or had witnessed what happened became part of the systems from 1992 till date. Why have things gotten so rotten to the extent that people have simply lost trust in our democracy?
You know something? I said the blame, first of all, you see, when you do this, the three are accusing you, and you are accusing that person. So first of all, I want to look at ourselves. I have been in the media for close to 40 years. I have been saying this thing for 40 years. Nobody wanted to listen. If you continue doing the same thing and getting the wrong answer, and you continue doing it, are you no worse than a lunatic?
Captain, let me create a scenario. Sorry to have cut you, but I'll give you space to respond. I remember a few years ago, 2, 3, 4 years ago, maybe the former president, Mahama, or some other Ghanaians were complaining. Everybody is silent. Nobody is talking. Nobody is talking. Sometimes we mention institutions and we're expecting people to speak. They have not spoken. Today, when you walk on the street, you hear the majority of Ghanaians saying, "Afedia abroso." So the culture of impunity has peaked. Yes. Where would you put the blame?
And I'm telling you, we, the people, you are not listening to me. Listen. Here, listen to
my
me.
Poor mother in the village,
listen
what has she
to me
done?
With rapt attention.
Right.
Disabuse your mind of things that you have in your mind. Listen to me. Listen. If you arrest one person, and we, the people, do not rise up at people to say, "Stop this," the person will have the boldness to arrest another person. Domelevo. We all shouting about corruption. Domelevo came and was trying to stop and checkmate people. When Domelevo was removed, how many of us rushed to the streets to say this will not happen? We didn't.
Should we be getting there?
No, we should have been there long ago.
Is it too late?
I cannot say it's too late or so, but I'm telling you that let us look to us as a people. We have allowed impunity to take its course. And when you look, my principle, if you touch one Ghanaian, you have touched all of us. If you touch one Ghanaian, you've touched all of us. But you see, we are all cowards when it comes to the crunch. You talked about a lot of things in your monologue. If I want to respond to that, this program, they have to give us another 1 hour. Because those are things that bother me. And I told you, Ghana is my hobby. And I said, Ghana is on the high seas and we are going round in circles. Every 4 years, what do? People come and they tell you, they give you a species of money here and there, big tour, bicycle, cars and things like that. Vote me. When you vote for him, he becomes a minister, he changes his telephone number. You want to talk to him, you cannot see him. You want to advise him, you cannot advise him. You go to the office, they let you sit down for about 2 hours and they say, "Oh, he has been called to Jubilee House," so you cannot see him. So the advice you want to give him in private, you cannot do. What I was telling Dampare, I could have gone to his office, but you know what would have happened? "Oh, Captain, welcome. Please sit down. We are going to tell him you are here. Oh, you see, Mr. Dampare is very busy. He's in a meeting now. So can you wait a bit? And you are there. So he's just been called to the Jubilee House. You cannot see. So can you come another day? I'm not going to waste my time. But when I say it here, he will listen. I respect him a lot. And I told him that he should leave his footprints on the sands of time. And the reason why I brought the 28th February crossing is that he must learn a lesson from that unknown policeman who was bold enough to refuse an order to shoot at his own people. Have we learned? Let me flow a little bit. You see, this country here, unless when these people, those people who did demonstrate before Arise Ghana, fix the country.
Yeah.
I told them they came and they just wasted our years. How did he end? He's dead. Because they did not have an aim. What was the aim of that demonstration? In the military, anything you do, you must have an aim. And that, at the end of the day, this is what we want to achieve. Are you
sounding passionate or you are angry?
I'm angry. I have been an angry person for a long time because 40 years I've been repeating myself and nobody is listening.
Now, Captain, at this stage, I want us to listen to, in fact, when I listened to him, I became moved, and I thought maybe we have a few people in this country today who are thinking Ghana, who we should listen to and march along with to change the path. But how do we do it? Sometimes some will say, remove everybody from the public service to the civil service to everything. Just flush the system and put new people there. But can it be done? Listen to the Singaporean Prime Minister. He spoke on 15th February 2022. He was addressing his parliament, and it was the Privileges Committee's report that he was speaking to. And it's loaded. Maybe it will be a top-up to what Captain is saying. But I will ask him a brief comment on what you are going to listen to before we take a break. Let's listen to Lee Hsien Loong, if that's the pronunciation, is the Prime Minister of Singapore.
Country's democracy hinges on its people's values, what they judge to be right or wrong, what they deem important, the causes they espouse, the ideals they embrace. Whichever example you look at whatever point in history, you will find that good and functioning democracies have clear, strong norms. And these norms are upheld both by the governed and those who govern them, or those who aspire to govern them one day. And that is how healthy democratic systems can elect good, incorruptible people with the right values and drive a virtuous cycle where good democracy begets good governance and good governance begets good politics. This cycle must be underpinned and sustained by strong institutions. Parliament sits at the apex of our system of democracy. It's where the most important matters of state are discussed, laws are enacted, supplies of money are voted, with the government setting the direction and proposing policies, while answering to the public through Parliament, and the opposition holding the government to account, while also being a government in waiting, should the ruling party lose the support of the people. To fulfill its vital role, Parliament must be respected, and its members' processes and proceedings must be trusted. Clear norms and incorruptible values are essential to protect the dignity and standing of Parliament. The system cannot work if the standing of Parliament is called into question. MPs must be people with integrity at their core, who speak and act in an upright manner, always putting duty before self and country before party. Our democratic system also depends on the people of Singapore, voters endorsing, insisting on, and backing the same norms and values, so that they can discern for themselves, as Ms. Loh did, when something is wrong, and hold accountable those in power or aspiring to power when their actions fall short of these high standards. That is how a democracy can function properly. Inculcating voters and their leaders with the right values is the work of decades. It takes unremitting effort and passion, and it doesn't always succeed. Most countries are founded and start off on the basis of high ideals and noble values. But beyond that initial fervor, succeeding generations often find it hard to sustain this momentum and drive. They start out as healthy democracies with idealism and zeal, but over time, the tone of the society changes. All too easily, a slip here, a blind eye there, a fudge, a trim, and gradually things go downhill. The texture of politics changes. Respect for politicians declines. After a while, the electorate comes to think, this is the norm and you cannot expect better. And so, standards get debased, trust is eroded, and the country declines further.
So that was the Prime Minister of Singapore. Is that where we are? I think that's where we are. How can we get out?
You see, I told you that we have created this mess. And I'm saying that infringement of the right of one person is an infringement of all of us. I told you, we must have strong institutions of state. Domelevo, the audit department, he was now trying to come up with a strong institution.
You see, just because you mentioned Domelevo, I want us to answer this question.
But you see, I needed to flow.
You would flow.
No,
the reason why I'm doing so is this, and I'm burying a question into what you are saying. I mentioned institutions, so Domelevo is bringing me back. Judiciary, SHRAJ, Parliament, the police service. Then you are looking at even think tanks, public service, trade unions, student unions. If all these institutions, Ghanaians don't trust them, just as Domelevo's case.
Listen. Let's go step by step and let me flow so that the audience and those who are listening will understand what I'm talking about. You mentioned judiciary. Do you remember a guy in the Bible called Pontius Pilate?
Right.
What did Pontius Pilate say? I find no fault in this guy. But why did they allow Jesus to be crucified? Because he was corrupt. You come to Ghana. Kwame Nkrumah sent some chief justice to do a business. The chief justice was not corrupt. He looked at Kwame Nkrumah in the face, came up with a right judgment. He was dismissed. So we have judges in this country who stood up to authority and came out with the right decision, not to appease those in authority and power. So what I'm trying to do is that if we take it one by one, from the judiciary, I would like us to look at the churches, the Christendom. Because I'm a Christian, the reason is that they say judgment starts from the church of God with his people. I know, and what the Lord God Almighty said was that Christians are the salt and light of the world. For those of you, right from the presidency to the least in the land, this evening, I'm asking you, are you on the Lord's side? Have you heard what Jesus said in the Beatitudes? I call it, be of these attitudes. Blessed are ye who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for yours is the kingdom of heaven. If you take that principle and you really honestly believe you are a Christian, I'm challenging you this evening. Are you prepared to be persecuted for righteousness' sake? I'm not saying go and steal. If you are persecuted, that one is not the issue. If you are a police officer, are you prepared to be persecuted for righteousness' sake? Whoever you are, if you are in the judiciary and there is a decision to be taken, do you ask yourself, this decision, is it in line with God? Do you pray for the God to give you wisdom? Because the Bible says, though if you lack wisdom, ask him and he'll give you liberally. Will you ask him? If they say shoot at human beings, thou shalt not kill. These demonstrators, they were not criminals. So if they were not criminals and they asked you to shoot, put hot water on them, shoot them with rubber bullets, and you are doing that. When you go to bed, do you pray before you and tell God, God, today I shot people. This is what I did to my fellow human beings. And then God will tell you, that good and faithful servant, enter into the rest of my joy. He talked about the cathedral. To those of you who are Christians and sitting on that board, I am telling you, God is angry with you. Let me explain to you. Amamansa wanted a baby. So he goes to the altar and prays, Lord, if you give me a baby, I will come and give you 500,000 to thank you. So Amamansa comes. So different people come with their destiny and they make pledges to God. And they get, God does what they want. That money is for God. That money is not for the church council. It's not for the head of the churches. So if you take that money that people have come to pledge to God in their faith and their belief, and you to go and give somebody who also has pledged to God, for him to redeem his pledge with God, you are stealing God's money. That is why God is saying he's angry with you. And those of you who are on that board, you all have churches. If you take a person like Archbishop Doug Hayward Mills, go to Mampo and see what he has put there as an individual. So if I were the president, Mr. President, you've just arrived. I'm told on the news that you've arrived. So I'm addressing you now. If I were you, what I would have said is that, fellow Ghanaians, I'm going to make a pledge to God that when he makes me president, I'll build a cathedral for him. But I think I spoke too early. And I realized that this pledge to God, I cannot redeem it. So, fellow Ghanaians, I'm appealing to you, all those of you who would like to help me voluntarily to redeem my pledge to God, please, you can pay it by Momo to this account or that. I would have agreed and clapped for you, Mr. President. But this deception, you are bringing, I said it before, I will say it, you are bringing God's name into disrepute. Because the kind of thing people are saying about this cathedral, even if a human being, you are going to build a house for me, and all these things are going about it, I'll tell you I cannot stay in it.
Okay, at this stage I'll be taking a break. Our topic is our democracy integrity crisis and agitated youth. After this break, we'll look at the way forward.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural. Best Wine is your one-stop wholesale and retail outlet for all your original favorite brands of wine, liquor, champagne at unbeatable prices. You can get discounts of up to 15% off. We provide customized solutions for your events with our event planning and catering services. Buy your well-stocked hampers from us at great prices. Best Wine is also a major distributor of X Natural Mineral Water. Locate us at number 34 Ni Norte Nyanchi Street, Jowulu, or call 050-761-3900 for delivery or for more inquiries. Best Wine, caliber of wine and liquor at its best.
Welcome back. This is Ideas Exchange on TV XYZ, and my guest in the studio is Captain Retired Joel Kwame So. Our topic is our democracy integrity crisis and agitated youth. What do you think is the best solution to where we are now?
Right now, before I talk about the solution, I'd like to say something about our parliament. And we talk about institutions that must be strong. The question is our parliament strong? I'll say no. And I'll tell you why. Our parliament is not strong because the little I know about government is that we talk about separation of powers. We have the executive, we have the legislature, we have the judiciary, and then we have the fourth estate of the realm, that is you, the media. If you are elected into parliament and it's your party that is in power, how can you checkmate the executive? Because you want the president to appoint you to be a minister. So whatever comes from executive, you cannot vote against it. So they take ministers from parliament who now are part of the executive and part of the legislature. So you don't have the legislature as a homogeneous whole. That when something comes from the executive, they will look at it from Ghana's lenses instead of political party lenses. That is the issue. That's why parliament is not strong.
So how do we solve this problem?
So now, the first thing we should do, in 2024, we are going to go into elections. I'll tell you how, that's where we must start the solution.
Cleaning the system.
One, the National Development Planning Commission must go from the community, from the localities, to find out what they want. Go to the districts and collect what each district they want, and then write up to the...
So a decentralized national plan.
Right. So they will collect all this into a national plan for 2024 to 2028. So before we start the elections, each party, I'm telling you, why we can break the back of this is what I said I would do. That is what I'm doing. Against what backdrop? Against the backdrop of the NDPC is saying that any party that comes to pick up this plan and tell us how you will implement that plan. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. Even all the years, year 1, quarter 1, year 1, quarter 2, up to quarter 4, year 2, quarter 1, up to the 4th year. So that you, the 4th estate of the realm, you will be checkmating against what the manifesto that has been prepared by the various parties. We, the people who are going to give them a job, can decide that I prefer the manifesto of party A, B, C, D. Then I can vote for that party. So if you come into power, now the social contract between we, the people, and you is that this is the national plan. This is your manifesto against the backdrop of the national plan. So year 1, you people will say, quarter 1, Master, you said you do this. You haven't done it.
So what happens?
Right. So the people will also be...
but is it not the same as a 4-year term where even if you are left to your own manifesto, you don't deliver and we bring you back?
Master, you are not getting...
I am listening to you carefully.
You are not getting the issue.
Right.
The only reason I am saying that if you are going to do an examination, do you set the question yourself and answer the question yourself? The answer is no. And if the answer is no, I'm saying don't let the parties set their own questions and answer it. So let the National Development Planning Commission set the questions for them. Let them answer it. Then we, the examiners, we will look at the answers of each party against the backdrop of the questions that have been set by the National Development Planning Commission and say, I don't like your manifesto because the National Development Planning is saying that you should do 80 kilometers of road in quarter 1. You haven't done it. And you yourself in your manifesto, you say you will do 40. Even the 40, you've done only 20. So you, who are to mirror this country to us, you tell us, this party that has told you that quarter 1 I'll do this. Again, let me flow a little bit. So when this is properly done, before the president comes to give a State of Nation address, the district chief executive will come and give the state of the district address to the district. The regional ministers, each and every one of them, will give the state of the region address. Then when the president comes, he comes to summarize all that has happened and give us the State of Nation address. All of us will checkmate what has been said by the district chief executive, checkmate the regional. So if the president is speaking and is at variance with all that has been said, we say, Mr. President, with all due respect, all that you are saying is a terminological inexactitude. This is how we should go. If we do not go this way, like I said, we are a ship of state. We are on the high seas. We are going round in circles because each party comes with its own manifesto. And the thing is, go north, northeast. This one comes to say, I'll go south, southwest. So you see, so it comes a different way. Another one will say, I'll go north, northwest. This one can, I'll go north, northwest, north, northeast. So we are going round in circles.
So many things, and we are not finishing. We'll be listening to the Singaporean Prime Minister again, and it is just to tease you on what they did differently. Now, the captain has made very strong points, especially if you have a master National Development Planning Commission's blueprint, and we are going according to it. Maybe Singapore, which was poorer than Ghana at the time we gained independence, will not today be one of the most expensive countries, which is rubbing shoulders even beyond the United States of America, Japan, and Britain, Germany, name them. and they are proud of it. And listen to some of the fine things they did, and Captain will top it up.
To operate these institutions, you need good people, and they needed to recruit, train, and deploy ministers, MPs, judges, civil servants, experts in many fields. People of ability and commitment, with a sense of public service, and above all with honesty and integrity, whom Singaporeans could rely upon to do their duty, put Singapore first, and make this country succeed. And that is how the system we have today came to be. It is incumbent on all of us, each succeeding generation, to protect and build upon this system that we have inherited. And this requires us to uphold integrity, enforce rules and standards, apply the same rules equally to everyone, make sure nobody is above the law. If we can do that consistently, persistently, unflinchingly, then we have a shot at making things work. People can trust our leaders, our systems, and our institutions. Our democracy can mature, deepen, and grow more resilient as both the governed and the governing embrace and express the right norms and values. With our lives and future at stake, everyone participating in the system must be held to the same standards. There can be no excuses, no double standards, and no pardoning of inexcusable behavior, just because the offending party portrays itself as the underdog. Mr. John Major, the former British Prime Minister, recently made a speech, triggered by Partygate, I'm sure, lamenting the state of British politics today. It was a cri de coeur, a cry from the heart. Let me read you a few excerpts. There has been cynicism about politics from the dawn of time. We are told that politicians are all the same. And this untruth conditions electors to condone lies as though they were the accepted currency of public life. But politicians are not all the same, and lies are just not acceptable. To imply otherwise is to cheapen public life and slander the vast majority of elected politicians who do not knowingly mislead. But some do, and their behavior is corrosive. This tarnishes both politics and the reputation of Parliament. It is a dangerous trend. If lies become commonplace, truth ceases to exist. What and who, then, can we believe? The risk is nothing and no one. And where are we then? If trust in the word of our leaders in Parliament is lost, then trust in government will be lost too.
Loaded. Captain Sowu, equally loaded. He's going to wrap up. The question is, people have lost trust. And I believe one thing, not all politicians are the same. Captain, wrap up in 2 minutes for us.
When we lose trust in Parliament, then we have a big problem. Parliament is like a clock. Well, do you have a watch?
Oh, nice one.
Right. Show it to the president. Now,
that's my watch.
this watch,
right.
You have, let me reduce it to a common denominator. It has an hour hand and a minute hand. But what is making us to know it is 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock is the engine behind it.
Right.
The old watches we knew, you have one going clockwise, the other one is going anti-clockwise. That is how Parliament is supposed to operate. They are not enemies. They are not even opponents. They are all doing their job to achieve the aim that we can say it is 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. When we, the people, begin to see Parliament as that the engine behind it. One is going clockwise, the other way is going anti-clockwise, then we know that we can have trust in that in Parliament. When ministers of state are no more coming from Parliament but outside Parliament, because in a pure democracy every position must be contested for. So if we elect people into Parliament, what have we elected them to go and do in Parliament? Did we elect them to become part of the executive? No, we have elected them to do to perform specific functions. And this is what we must also realize. We should stop asking politicians, MPs to come and build roads for us, because that is not their primary function.
Of course, Captain, unfortunately, you would have loved to do this for another hour, but that's where we bring this conversation to an end. Exciting, I'm almost carried away. And I'm going to end with a question. If you had an institution that is supposed to be an active player in good governance, ask yourself, if you are the Chief Justice, are you corrupt? Do you have an integrity? And do you believe in Ghana? Do you want to die and be remembered as one of the best or finest we have? If you are the Armed Forces Commander, do you have the same thinking? If you are the IGP, do you have the same thinking? If you belong to any of the influential associations, Trades Union Congress, Ghana Bar Association, teacher unions, etc., are you thinking about your stomach, or you are thinking about the people you serve, and for which reason we want to see a Ghana become a certain Singapore in the next 20, 30 years? If you are a young man, are you aspiring to be the bad leaders we have today because you want to cut corners? Or you want to be among the few young people who have devoted their lives, they have put their lives on the table to cry out for many voices to join, to change the cause to save our country? I cannot say much at this stage, but on behalf of my producers, and of course, my guest, Captain Retired Joel Kwame Sow, and all those who have been part of this program by watching us, that we are so grateful. Let's meet again next week. But this program is going to be repeated tomorrow at 1 p.m. My name is Eric Ahianyo. Thanks again for your time.